Welcome back to Workers.com Staffing Pulse, Insights from the Frontline. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Sam. It's great to have you with us for our twice-weekly dive into the ever-shifting landscape of industrial staffing and job searching.
Absolutely. And today we've got a lot to unpack. We're going to be looking at the latest economic indicators and staffing data to give you a clear picture of what's happening on the ground for both employers and job seekers. Let's start with the big picture, Sam. What are the overarching economic trends that are influencing industrial hiring right now?
Well, Jennifer, we're still seeing a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, inflation, while showing some signs of cooling, continues to be a factor, impacting operational costs for businesses. This can sometimes lead to a more cautious approach to hiring, especially for non-essential roles.
Right, and that caution can translate into longer hiring cycles or a focus on roles that directly drive production or revenue.
Precisely. However, the flip side is that demand for essential goods and services remains robust. We're seeing continued strength in sectors like logistics, manufacturing of consumer staples, and warehousing. This, in turn, is fueling a consistent need for skilled and semi-skilled labor in those areas. So, it's a bit of a tug-of-war between economic headwinds and persistent demand in key industrial sectors.
Exactly. And when we look at the specific staffing data, what's standing out to you, Sam?
One of the most prominent trends is the continued high demand for certain specialized skills. Think about skilled trades, welders, electricians, machinists. These roles are consistently in short supply. Companies are willing to invest in attracting and retaining talent in these areas because the impact of having an experienced individual is so significant.
And that often means higher wages and better benefits for those with in-demand skills, right?
Absolutely. We're seeing competitive compensation packages being offered to draw in qualified candidates. Beyond the highly skilled trades, we're also observing a strong need for reliable general labor and warehouse associates, particularly with the ongoing growth in e-commerce and the need for efficient supply chain operations.
That makes sense. The sheer volume of goods moving through warehouses and distribution centers requires a steady workforce. What about the job seeker perspective, Sam? What are you seeing in terms of what candidates are looking for and how they're approaching their job search?
Job seekers are definitely more empowered than they have been in some time, Jennifer. They're not just looking for any job, they're looking for the right job. This means a greater emphasis on work-life balance, opportunities for career advancement, and a positive company culture.
That's a significant shift. It's no longer just about a paycheck.
Not at all. They're also more informed. With the wealth of information available online, candidates are researching companies, understanding typical compensation ranges, and reading reviews. They're coming to the table with expectations.
And are they being more discerning about the types of roles they're applying for?
Yes, to a degree. While there's still a strong desire for stable employment, many are looking for roles that offer more than just repetitive tasks. They want opportunities to learn new skills, take on more responsibility, or even transition into different areas within the industrial sector. This is where companies that invest in training and development programs have a distinct advantage.
Let's talk about specific industries within the industrial staffing landscape. What are the hot spots and what are the areas facing challenges?
Manufacturing continues to be a cornerstone, Jennifer. We're seeing a resurgence in domestic manufacturing, driven by supply chain resilience efforts and government incentives in certain sectors, like advanced manufacturing and green energy components. This means a steady demand for production workers, machine operators, and quality control technicians.
And what about logistics and warehousing? That seems to be a constantly evolving area.
It is. The growth of e-commerce has been a major driver, and while the initial explosive growth might have plateaued slightly, the demand for warehouse associates, pickers, packers, and forklift operators remains incredibly high. Companies are also investing in automation, which is creating a need for individuals who can operate and maintain these new systems.
That's an interesting point about automation. It's not necessarily eliminating jobs, but rather changing the nature of some roles and creating new ones.
Precisely. It requires a workforce that's adaptable and willing to learn. On the other end of the spectrum, we might see some challenges in sectors that are more sensitive to economic downturns or shifts in consumer spending. For instance, industries that rely heavily on discretionary spending could experience more fluctuating demand for labor.
So, it's about understanding the underlying economic drivers for each specific industrial segment. Now, let's pivot to the practical advice for both employers and job seekers. Sam, what are your key takeaways for companies looking to hire in this environment?
For employers, the message is clear. Be competitive and be agile. If you're looking for skilled labor, you need to offer attractive compensation and benefits. But it's not just about money. Invest in your company culture, highlight opportunities for growth and development, and make the hiring process as efficient and transparent as possible. Long, drawn-out hiring processes are a sure way to lose out on top talent.
And what about the candidate experience?
Crucial, a positive candidate experience from the initial application to the onboarding process can make a huge difference. This includes clear communication, timely feedback, and a welcoming environment. Companies that prioritize this are building stronger relationships with potential employees, which can lead to better retention down the line.
That's excellent advice. And for job seekers, Sam, what are your top recommendations?
For job seekers, my advice is to be strategic and persistent. Understand your skills and what makes you valuable. Don't be afraid to highlight those skills and experiences. Research the companies and roles that align with your career, goals, and values.
And in terms of the job search itself?
Be proactive. Don't just rely on online job boards. Network within your industry, attend job fairs, and connect with staffing agencies like workers.com. Be open to learning new skills. Many companies offer training programs, and showing a willingness to upskill can open up a lot of doors.
And I would add, be patient, but also persistent. The job market can be competitive, and it might take time to find the right fit. But don't get discouraged. Keep refining your resume, practicing your interview skills, and staying engaged with your job search.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the importance of flexibility. Sometimes the perfect job isn't immediately available. Being open to slightly different roles or industries where your skills are transferable can be a smart move, especially in the current economic climate.
That's a great point, Sam. Adaptability is key for everyone right now.
So, to summarize, we're seeing a dynamic industrial staffing market. Employers need to be competitive, focus on candidate experience, and highlight growth opportunities. Job seekers should be strategic, persistent, and open to upskilling and flexible roles. And the underlying economic factors, while presenting some challenges, are also creating significant opportunities in key industrial sectors.
Indeed. The demand for skilled and reliable workers in manufacturing, logistics, and warehousing remains strong.
Let's touch on a couple of specific data points we've seen recently. For instance, the latest Bureau of Labor Statistics report indicated a slight uptick in manufacturing employment, particularly in durable goods. This reinforces the idea that domestic production is regaining momentum.
And on the staffing side, we're seeing an increase in temporary and contract roles being filled. This often signals that companies are looking for flexibility to manage fluctuating demand or to fill immediate needs without long-term commitments. It can be a great way for job seekers to gain experience and test out different environments.
That's a crucial point about temporary roles. They can be a fantastic stepping stone into full-time employment and a way to build a diverse resume.
Definitely. And for employers, it offers a way to scale their workforce up or down more easily, which is invaluable in managing economic uncertainty.
Another trend we're observing is the increasing use of technology in the hiring process. Applicant tracking systems, AI-powered resume screening, and virtual interviews are becoming standard. This means both employers and job seekers need to be tech-savvy. Employers need to ensure their systems are efficient and user-friendly, and job seekers need to be comfortable navigating these platforms and presenting themselves effectively in a virtual environment.
Absolutely. Mastering virtual interviewing is a critical skill set now. It's not just about looking professional on camera, but also about conveying enthusiasm and engagement through a screen.
And for employers, it's about making sure those virtual interactions feel personal and not just transactional.
Exactly. It's about building that human connection, even through technology.
So, as we wrap up today's episode, what's your final thought, Jennifer, on the outlook for the industrial staffing industry?
I remain cautiously optimistic, Sam. The underlying demand for essential industrial services is strong, and while economic uncertainties persist, the need for skilled and dedicated workers will continue to be a driving force. Companies that adapt to the evolving needs of the workforce and embrace new technologies will be best positioned for success.
And from my perspective, job seekers who are proactive, willing to learn, and adaptable will find ample opportunities. The industrial sector offers a wealth of career paths for those who are ready to roll up their sleeves and contribute.
Thank you for that insightful summary, Sam. And thank you, our listeners, for tuning into Workers.com Staffing Pulse, Insights from the Frontline. We hope this episode has provided you with valuable information to navigate the current hiring and job searching landscape.
Find the workforce solutions you need or your next career opportunity at Workers.com. Employers can connect with qualified talent, and job seekers can explore real opportunities.
And don't forget, be sure to subscribe to our twice-weekly podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and all major platforms so you never miss an update from the front line of industrial staffing. Join us next time. Until then, stay informed and stay employed.